Oh, and back on intimacy. When you get married, sex is a lot better. Guilt-free sex. Guilt-free sex. Hey y'all. Today is Sweeties Day. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I'm excited for it because this is after 1 year of me being married. If y'all catch me looking at my phone, that's because I'm referencing some questions that I can answer for you guys being a young wife. Sweeties Day. So first thing first, let me look at my phone. What exactly is Sweeties Day? Don't y'all like my little dollar holidays from Walmart? I'm gonna get into it because I know y'all want me to be all up in y'all face, eyebrowless, bald in the face. Okay, so Sweeties Day is a holiday that is separated in the Midwestern. It's celebrated in the Midwestern. I got my keyboard next to me too, so yeah. United States, parts of northeastern United States, Florida. Okay. It is a day to share romantic deeds or expressions and acts of charity and kindness. So technically it's kind of like a second Valentine's Day. I was always taught that like Valentine's Day was like for the women and then Sweeties Day was like for the men, you know, but to each his own. To each his own. We celebrate kind of, we don't really embellish too much on Sweeties Day, but sometimes things can get a little sweet. So yeah, we definitely want to keep it sweet up around here. Don't y'all like my heart earrings? Sweeties Day. Yeah. I got my water here. So y'all, we stay hydrated and we stay blessed on this channel. So get your water, get your tea, get your pre-workout, whatever you got to do. Just grab something to hydrate you. I probably won't be going too much over the makeup that I do have as well, just because I feel like that can get kind of redundant and I just want to get right on into the topics. Question number 1 is, how am I doing as a wife in general? In my perspective, I'm doing a hell of a good job. I'm doing amazing, top tier, nothing but the best. No, honestly, I think that I'm gonna get a little deep into this because I don't want to give y'all like surface level answers. When being married, a lot of people have the perception as like, oh, well, once I become married, I'm gonna be whole. There's nothing wrong with me once I'm married. And then it comes as a reality shock when the excitement has died down from the actual wedding and from, oh, I'm married now, you know. So it's kind of like a reality shock, and a lot of people start having like issues during their 5 years, not necessarily as a preventative measure. It was just kind of like a common sense thing that I've always known about but not really thought about. But I definitely want to say that I made sure that I did a lot of self-work. Like I literally just got in tune with myself in such a way, and I figured that, you know, like God wouldn't allow for certain things to happen within my marriage without me trying to just address some issues that I'm without addressing some issues that I'm having by myself. So in marriage, like it's in the Bible, it's saying that a part of you dies so that way you can be made whole. And I realized that the parts of me that were really just pushing it and reaching from a different perspective, even back into like my old ways and me having to adjust to this like new lifestyle, that had to go, that had to die. And when I had first got married, I don't think that part instantly died. Like I just remember me like just looking for help and actually trying to like seek like some type of therapy or something like that, and not even realizing like what was going on with me or what my problem was, but just knowing that something was wrong. It has definitely been an adjustment, but I would say overall I'm doing a pretty good job. Okay. Something else that I wanted to talk about. The next question is, what are you most excited about in your relationship during this season. I would say partnership. I would say being like actual business partners now, because we've been able to, like, over the years, been able to communicate and like fill in the gaps where another person might only be able to give, you know, I won't never say either one of us have really been at a, well, wait a minute, no. I was gonna say, I wouldn't say that either one of us have ever given like only 20%, but I would say way like in the past, that probably was the case. And it's always been one of us that has kind of had a sound mind, you know, in that moment. So now it's like, I feel that in many ways we are equally yoked, but also too, like, we can teach each other a lot more. So I'm just very curious, like, to see in the way that like my husband operates, because we haven't had the opportunity to be successfully like business partners as far as business goes, as far as the household goes, and like, you know, just relationship wise, like romantically involved, yeah. And then also too, as far as like just being like friends, yeah. But actual business, not yet. Like, no. Yeah, even if when we did have like jobs together, I think that happened like maybe once or twice. We wasn't in the same position. I think in this season right now, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm really happy about where we are, because seeing him as a father, that is like really like exciting to me, and I like to see that. I really like to see him being active with his son, loving on his son. And our son, he don't play about his father. Like, I know when to fall back as a mother and let them have their time and their understanding with each other. So I just like seeing them overall, like, just relationship with each other and love on each other. If I could change 2 things about myself, what would I change? I would change me being like scatterbrained and being like overwhelmed with stuff. I would change that about myself, and learning how to be more orderly, which I am, but it's like a whole process within itself sometimes. So I would definitely change that about myself. And then I would say, like, y'all, so much has changed about me. Like, so much has really just elevated in such a way. And I feel, how can I word this? Look, while I do that, let me hurry up so I can fill these eyebrows in, honey, because Lord Jesus, it's far. Okay. One of my major like concerns about myself and what I have been doing wrong all the way in the past, I realized that I do not have anything to contour with. Thank God this video ain't no makeup tutorial. Throughout like us getting back together and just like our marriage and everything like that, I really have kind of pushed in a way that wasn't necessarily acting in my feminine. And I realized that while my husband is very like just stand alone, he really don't care about a lot of like outside things. Like, he is so much into like his family, his job, his work and stuff like that, and immediate family at that. Like, he don't really care about what cuz all the way in, you know, like, he don't care about that. With him being just like basically these are like traits of like an alpha male, and me being very much so like standalone. And I feel like too, a lot plays into the fact that we are both earth signs. So we have a more grounded like sense of understanding things around us and each other, that he wasn't really fazed by me lashing out or me wanting to be more of like a dominant role. It was just kind of like, I'm a man and this is what it is. And so when I had realized that this attitude, this behavior is not serving anybody, like, it's not serving me at all. It might serve me out on the streets, but honey, that's not my lifestyle anymore. So I had to get into just a better understanding of where he was coming from. And so basically what the girls is saying is, just let me just fall back and just be a lady. Let me just be a woman. And I've been really happy with that. I feel like life has just been a lot smoother, you know, just a lot. It's just been it's been easier, you know? And I like my husband, he goes to church, but I know that he takes away something from that. You know, he's not just going just to be kicking it. His walk with God. So I trust that. You know, I trust that more than ever. And I also trust like what God has been leading me to. So that's why a huge part of myself really did have to die and elevate. Well, really have to die in order for us to elevate. So it says, this one kind of was similar as the previous question. In what way can I honor my partner more? For myself to be honored. And once again, that is definitely just knowing your role in the relationship. It's one thing, you know, to talk about, you know, but also it has to be followed by execution. So if you and your partner was just like, oh, well, you know, I'll take care of the bills as a man, and then you take care of the household as a wife. Okay, but are people following through with the plans? Even when someone isn't operating at that full 100% level, you know, it's a way to honor each other by filling each other's cup and by keeping each other full and keeping each other grounded. And another key is communication. Communication is definitely the key, because no matter what, like, yeah, you've died and, you know, you become one with each other. That other half, you know, they can't read your mind. They cannot read your mind. So you need to learn how to talk and communicate. And that's been a huge thing for me. When I tell you, I would literally take my feelings and bury them down in a sunken place. And then next thing you know, I'm lashing out just because somebody can't read my mind. Well, you didn't set anybody up for success. So it's been, marriage has definitely highlighted a lot of things that has been wrong with me. And I will say wrong with me, or things that I just find as a challenge within myself, is definitely heightened that. So you just have to learn, you know, how to better communicate with each other, and also too, how to give each other praise. I think that sometimes comes like it's kind of like a shock, because it's like, well, why would you praise somebody for doing something that they're supposed to do? Because sometimes it's hard to just get out of the bed. Like, for instance, my husband, he drives trucks. So for me, if I'm even in traffic for 10 minutes, it's a problem. It's a whole problem. And I will come home, I will be in a bad mood. I would just be on 10. You know, I'm hanging out the window, cussing at people if they're not driving right. Like, you know, that's a problem. And yeah, not everybody reacts or acts that way, or, you know, you shouldn't be receiving praise just for not lashing out at people on the street. It's the fact that you're operating outside of yourself to get certain things done for your family. So definitely just give each other praise. It might seem like you're not doing much for each other. Like, for instance, you know, like, for instance, yesterday I came home and I was out pretty much all day, and my husband had washed the dishes. Now, he despises washing the dishes, and he got his own reasons, aside from the ones that he be talking about, but he don't like washing dishes. So what did I do? Thank you so much for washing the dishes. And then maybe the second or the third time that I say it, and not saying that you have to continuously say that to somebody, or, you know, say the same thing over and over. But by the second or third time that I said it, it was because of the fact, first of all, I'm saying it just because you did it. I'm saying it now because of the fact that I ain't got to do it. And then I'm saying that probably for a third time because now I can move on to the next thing on my list, my mental list, this very chaotic list. I can move forward and proceed on with some other stuff that I had planned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go run me a bath. I could go, you know, clean up something else. I could go work on something, like, you know. So it's just like with that time thing, or else I could just sit down and relax with our son since I've been out all day. So, you know, it's just giving each other praise, even for the most simplest things. Because, honey, it's when you get a little bit older, it'd be like, woo, goodness gracious, I can't do all of this. I'll be tired 24/7. Like, why, Lord? Why? Why? Okay. What are your biggest fears about your relationship? They probably just not communicating. Like, back in the day, around this time, like Halloween, like into like November, like it used to give me anxiety because like we would always have like a big debacle around this time. And I thought that like this time was like really cursed for us until I had to change my way of thinking. I think that when we transition more into like the colder months and stuff like that, sometimes you lose, I don't know, sometimes you lose like a certain thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like just that whole like it's getting darker now or something. I don't know what that's about. But like we would definitely just have like our little, you know, tiffs and stuff like that during this time of the year. And because we wasn't really like communicating. So I think my biggest fear would be that we're not communicating and that we just kind of lose sight of, you know, our end goal and us being like friends ultimately, like, you know, being life partners. Like we kind of go against our vows. Yeah, that's not something like really easily to talk about, but I feel more confident than ever in our relationship now. Look at that long eyebrow hair. Like, why are my eyebrow hairs so long and so sparse? I'll make a little fake little line right there. Yeah, see it? Yeah, I can't do it on this side. Okay. So as a wife, how can I show more love and sensitivity towards my husband? Honoring the fact that we are on different time frames. Like we are on different times. He usually is like a third shift type of person. He's like a night owl anyways. Me, if I could every night, I would go to bed at 8:30. If I could tell my body like lay down and like go to sleep, yes, I will be in bed every night 8:30, and I will be up like 4:30, maybe like sometimes 3:30 if I'm feeling, you know, real crazy, you know, real good that morning. But I would be up, yes, 4:30 a.m. every single day. So honoring the fact that, you know, that he is tired because we're just on two different time frames. That's definitely for one. For two, I would say I'm trying to be like more affectionate, like more, you know, let me cater to you, cause baby, this is your day. Do anything for my man. Grab your slippers, your dinner, cater to you. Yeah, I'm trying to be like that, on that type of level. And I think that's too, just with me elevating and loving myself more, is that I'm able to give that to somebody else. Like, it's making me feel real good, like, seeing him over the last, like, couple of, well, even, like, when we first got married, like, I guess he gave his trust to me, like, using my like, skincare products, or, like, my, well, not skincare, but, like, my body washes and stuff like that. Like, he kind of trusted me. It was, like, on a new level. So that made me feel good. And the fact that like he can reach for like products and stuff like that, like I'm able to provide in different ways, not like monetarily. And that was my huge problem when we like got back together, because I'm like, how can I provide? How can I provide? And like, no girl, no, I'm the man. You need to calm down. You need to chill out. You can step in when and if it's necessary, but you're not finna do all of that. Like, that's how the way I was with it. So that was a very toxic kind of way of thinking. And that was part of the reason like that I had so many issues in the past. So I would say definitely just look, staying in my lane, playing my role. That's the way that I most definitely, without a doubt, that's the best way that I could say to honor your partner, is just to make sure you have that line of communication and to lean back, learn how to lean on your partner. Everybody wants to feel needed. Now, codependency is a whole different, that's a whole different thing. But everybody want to feel like they are actually needed and appreciated. Because otherwise, why am I here? Like, if you don't need me, you know, and we letting that be known and clear. No, my husband don't need, well, okay. My boyfriend didn't need me, but my husband needs me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like new levels, new devils type of thing. But definitely, yeah, definitely. And primarily, we need God more than anybody else. And more than even ourselves. So, yes. Oh, okay. So to go back to on something that I would change about myself is I'm learning also too that like now a lot more than ever, like I really can't trust my emotions anymore. And I'm reading so much more like in the Bible about that. I'm reading so much more in the Bible about not to lean on my own understanding, not to trust my emotions and my feelings, because emotions and feelings are so temporary and they can't be trusted. It's a worldly thing. It's a worldly thing. So you can't lean on your own understanding. You have to always, if you don't understand something, ask God. You take vows in front of God, I'm telling you, and you don't have a single doubt in your mind. Now, some people, they do get married and they do be like, oh my God, at the altar, like, what did I do? And you'll hear people say that, like, well, I knew it wasn't right because my wedding day, like, I just didn't feel right about it. I felt nauseous and sick to my stomach. Like, people really out here and they don't say nothing. They go ahead and they get married, and then guess what they do? Maybe they might get a year off, but honey, 3 months in, they cheating. They probably cheated the moment that they got home. So, you know, and definitely I would say, I'm grateful. People always, you know, we always talk about how people change up and switch up on you when you get married. That's hard and that's tough, but I'm glad that a lot of bullshit like kind of canceled itself out when we did get married, because certain relationships, like I couldn't honor those relationships anymore. Like, and I realized too that like we create a balance for each other. We give each other our space. You know, we give each other time apart. We let each other hang out with, you know, like people that we would prefer to hang out with, like, you know, and we communicate that with each other. So once again, communication is key, but also too, you have to make sure that you honor your partner by putting yourself in honorable environments, where you don't have to sneak and you don't have to lie. You always want to steer away from the thought of like lying to your partner as much as possible, and that'll kind of just alleviate a lot of things that might stir up or happen or cause frustration in the future. One thing too is, and I love this. One person mentioned that they no longer had an addiction to like certain things or a certain lifestyle or a certain way. Like for instance, like infidelity. From this podcast that I was watching, someone had stated that they could not cheat on their partner because not of their relationship with their partner, but of their relationship with God. So those vows, like when you put that in question, when you put that in mind, that hits totally different, because it's like, okay, I made a promise to God that I was gonna take care of this person, that I was going to, and this is God's person, this is not my person, you know. So that was another thing that really got me. And you know, so you just have to always keep that in mind, no matter what you might be feeling, or no matter what you might think that you know or think that you're feeling. Always keep in mind that when you take those vows, it's because God led you there. It's because God is trusting you with protecting that person, with loving that person unconditionally. So many people have wronged God. Do you see him out here like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just not gonna bless you no more because you just, no, God still has everlasting love for every soul that he creates. So in a way to have my life be a lot better, I have to be that human embodiment of God and respect and love my husband and the people around us. Okay, so we're gonna get a little raunchy. So no, we're not. So it says, how can we improve intimacy or take it to the next level? We just keep it spicy. We keep it spicy, and I like surprises. Like, I don't like to just keep things like, you know, regular. I like surprises. Let's just say that. Yeah. Okay. My dream date night with my partner. I don't know. And he does a really good job at keeping stuff very dreamy and very spontaneous. He does a very good job at that. I'm the one with the ideas. He is the one that will go out and execute. But like, for us to really effectively have something on, I would have to turn around and like go back over whatever it was before he fully, because he'll go the whole way. Like, he just won't. No, he'll go the whole way. So like, I have to catch him like before he hit that button to be like, hey, let's do this like this. Let's do this like this. So even like for me, like, I'm a, what is that word? Sapiosexual? However, it's somebody that is turned on or aroused by conversation. So even like if we're talking about, like, for instance, we had a conversation about like this is kind of weird now that I'm saying this, but we had a conversation about like waivers for people that's walking in like on public streets, like in movies, and how we like came together like to see like his point of view on it, and then like to see like my thoughts about it, and then how we came together. Like, it was really stimulating, but not like I was like, ooh, yeah. But I mean, a little part was kind of like that, but I wait for this video to be this goofy. But yeah, kind of like that. Like, I'm just like, ooh, let me see your point of view, your perspective, your thoughts on this, and then like, here's my thoughts on this. So I really like that, talking to each other about like stuff that we want to do, because honey, we was just like in Jamaica, and it was a day that I just was feeling horrible, and he mentioned going to the club, but I kind of looked at him, and then he kind of looked at me, and then like we went back to the hotel. We ordered room service and like went to sleep, and it was great. And we both was not on that type of vibe like for the club that night. Like, he really could care less, you know. So at first I was feeling bad because like I wasn't feeling good, but yeah, we wasn't on that type of time that night. So yeah, it's just like clear understanding with each other, and like really trying to take our times out and like ask each other questions, because we're ever evolving. Like, just because you might think that somebody is yours, that person is not your possession. That person is constantly changing. Like, so you need to have a conversation with people, you know, regularly, at least your spouse. Like, that's just like a common sense type of thing. If I had 3 wishes for our future, I would just say health, like, is a #1 priority for me and him. Like, we both are into the gym a lot more, and we both are like reading up on different things that we can do. We don't play about our sleep. Like, that definitely more trips than mine. That's not a problem because he loved him a trip. And he's like a daredevil. For us to push and listen to each other a lot more, I think that's my top 3 for now, because there's not anything specific, but I definitely want us to have the health and the wealth. Like with our son, like we do a pretty good job together. So then my last one would be my top 3 favorite love songs. I don't know, like these days, like I'm really feeling Cater to You, because that song and that beat was knocking, honey. That was not playing. And when I was young, I did not understand. I'd say I didn't know, I was just singing the song, but I did not understand like the premise of the song. I didn't understand it until I was listening to it, what, day before yesterday. And I was like, wait a minute, these women's was on to something. So that is my song right now. And then like our songs that we had together was Genuine, Changes, of course, because we really was going through some changes. Like, it's so amazing. Like, when I think back to how we've grown with each other, oh my gosh, like I could just cry. It's just, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's a really good feeling. It's so nice to have somebody to see you through different seasons of your life, and somebody to like realize and know that like this person has really been there. Like this person has been down for me. Like, you know, like I said, my husband like really thugged it out with me at my like lowest points. So yeah. And even the fact, like, we had our little toughs, you know, we had our little things or whatever when we did take a little moment apart, but we still kind of kept tabs and, you know, stayed in touch in a way. And I think we were just more so invested in getting a point across. So, like, we both can be stubborn, but now it's just that whole communication, man. Not me about to start crying, but it saves you a lot of heartache. It saves you a lot of just frustration. So yeah, I can't even answer the I don't know, a third love song. I'm feeling the Brent, I always say his last name, Fayez, All Mine. I like that song, but that's because TikTok be having me in the chokehold sometimes. So, but yeah. Oh, speaking of All Night, no, it's definitely, so I got 2 Beyonce's songs. It's All Night, Beyonce. Like, listen to that song and how the way the life has happened. Oh my gosh, that's craziness. That is berserk. She was ordained for that one right there. What have you learned to appreciate about your partner that you did not know when you first married? Ooh, that's one to think about. When we first got married, so I gotta think back to last year. I didn't know how like wholeheartedly invested that my husband was into like the relationship and taking care of his family and his loved ones, like when we first even got together. I'd never seen that before. So when I had seen him operating in that way, it was just like I was so used to accusing, you know, guys in my life of doing something because they had to, not because they authentically wanted to. And so when I got out there into the world, honey, I started actually, you know, dealing with people that was just doing things because they had to, because it looked good and stuff like that. So it was like I kind of had to eat my words. And then coming back and seeing somebody actually and authentically doing something out of the pureness and the kindness and just from their heart, that was something that I was just like, wait a minute, this is not no show. Like, baby girl, you late. Like, he been doing this. Once again, it was me having to heal from my overly aggressive you know, wanting to be the man, like literally calling myself the man. Y'all, just god awful. Just, ooh, I'm so glad, like I said, the Lord really has had his hand on me. But for me to fall back from that and now let him operate in the way that he wants to, like for somebody to literally yell at you and be like, let me do this, you know that, okay, maybe I just have an aversion. Maybe I'm just used to operating in a certain way. Marriage is gonna bring out a lot of your insecurities. Anything that you were just like money, just like things that have the potential to really change your life. You know, it's gonna bring and pull and stretch you in different ways than you've never ever been stretched before. So it's up to you, being the adult, being the person that has now separated from their family to go and build a new family. It's gonna take for you to have that mindset and to understand that it's gonna all be the greater good. It's gonna all be in God's divine alignment. So as long as you don't fight through, you know, all of just unnecessarily fighting, and you seek peace throughout your life, then you're able to provide peace to others. So that's the biggest takeaway that I got for this. I'll answer one more question just to see, just so I'm a little more lighthearted. I don't want to say like advice that I would give to like couples and stuff, because that's still like going super deep. Like this video is not supposed to be just a lighthearted type of thing. No, I will also say too, back to like the environments and stuff like that, learn to separate yourself from just toxic environments, toxic people. Don't let outsiders like infiltrate your relationships. Even if you are faced with the different things like infidelity or something like that, always prioritize and put God first in a relationship. And in your relationship with God, that will steer you away from offense. It will help you be more knowledgeable of how to better assess certain situations, because you have to realize that most of the things that you go through with other people will not be about you. It's always about the other person. Don't blame yourself. Like, even if somebody, like some days I could act stank. I knew that I was acting stank last night. I was tired. I didn't feel like being bothered. And I voiced that. But also too, I had to, girl, okay, well, you not gonna be spreading that nasty attitude around the whole house. Go upstairs and go lay down. Like, you know, so you have to talk to yourself, like, cause just because you don't feel like being bothered don't mean that other people don't want to be around you. Like, their intent is not to bother you. They're just around, you know. So you need to go separate yourself if you got to. Definitely big on the self-care, and that don't mean like going to go spend money. And money is a big thing when it comes to relationships, because how the way somebody else prioritizes their money will not be the same as you. You might prioritize like food and eating out and, you know, clothes. Another person might prioritize makeup and, you know, getting the bills out the way and never having to reach, you know, for credit. You have to meet in the middle. So always be willing to meet in the middle and love each other and place each other first. Stay out of toxic environments. Do not be telling y'all business. Don't tell y'all business at all. If you must, make sure that you have a thorough and complete conversation with your partner first, because what can they do outside of your marriage? You made a vow to God with this person, so for life. So what could somebody outside of your marriage do for you? You know? So yes, I hope, if I could think about anything else, I would definitely put that in the description box below. But I hope you guys had took something from this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Jasmine Garden, aka Peace of Mind. In real life, I'm Jasmine Hill. And I will see y'all in the next video. I hope y'all like the way that my makeup turned out. A little natural beat. Something slight. But alright, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye. Happy Sweeties Day. Mwah.